Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. I'm going to spend about 7 minutes talking about one of our core values, which is creating a safe space. And in particular, I want to talk to you about how we can create a safe and welcoming environment for our children in the small group setting. So I'm going to give you 5 practical things that you can do each week to create a safe space. The first one I want to have us do is sit in circles, not in rows. And that's important for this reason. I know in some of our classrooms are set up in rows, and that's good for Chinese school and everything like that when there's a teacher in the room and we're doing some instruction. But when we want to have a small group discussion, circles open us up to each other. Because if we're in rows, we're having to turn around and look at each other, and in a circle we can all see each other. So as you begin your time, just push all the desks or tables to the side and have your kids help you create a circle of chairs just like I did here. And then it's important that if you have any kids that are easily distracted when they sit next to one of their friends, you can separate them before you start your small group discussion. And the second thing I want you to do is I want you to sit with your kids. Whenever you stand up when kids are sitting down, they will feel a little more guarded in what they can share. By sitting with them, it communicates that you're open and just here on their level, and you can have you're there for conversation. And when you're standing, it's more, I'm talking down to you. So I just want to encourage you to sit with your kids in the circle. And the third thing I want to encourage you to do is give a clear purpose statement and group rules. And I'll have these for you each week, so you don't need to write any of this down. So it's important to give a purpose statement, because if we do not define the purpose of the small group, then the kids will. So just start with a simple 1-sentence purpose statement that I'll have for you, and it says this: the purpose of our group is that we want to have a conversation about the Bible lesson, and that's it. After you say that, I also like to include some encouragement for why we do have discussions. So I'll say something like, I really want to encourage you to participate, because you never know what you share, how it will influence someone in the group. You can have a really positive influence, and God can use what you say to bless someone in our group. So let's take this seriously, let's participate, and let's have fun as we talk about the Bible lesson and apply it to our lives. Can everybody do that? Okay, sounds great. Well, in order to do that, we also need to give group rules. So the next thing I want you to do is give a list of 4 simple group rules that can clarify what kind of expectations we have for kids' behavior. And I'll have these for you as well, so you don't need to write this down. The first one is respect. Be respectful of group members and small group leaders. So some examples of when this is out of line are if a child is giving put downs, or if someone is not keeping their hands to themselves, or if they're not following your instructions. And just remind them in that moment of the group rule, that we all have this group rule we're trying to follow, so we can have a conversation about the Bible lesson. And just state the group rule, and hopefully their behavior will align with that rule that we've laid down in place. Second one is participate. We can't make kids participate, but we want to encourage it by having that in our group rules. So participate. Always try to do your best to participate. The third one is listen. Raise your hand to speak. 1 person talks at a time, no interruptions. And that's just keeping our kids on point so that we're not interrupting each other. It's important to have your kids know that if they want to talk, to raise their hand so that we're not talking over each other or talking at the same time. The last one is protect. What is said here stays here. And that just helps our kids know that what they share here for prayer requests, what they share here in our discussion time, it stays here, so that there's no gossiping outside, so that kids don't talk about each other and what they shared. And the fourth thing I want you to do is I want you to then open with prayer. And that's important for 2 reasons. The first and obvious reason is we want kids to know that when we come together to talk about the Bible, we're completely dependent upon God. And so in your prayer, just acknowledge that, Lord, we're dependent upon you. We're here to grow in our knowledge of the truth, and we need your help. And just ask God to just give the kids help to apply the truth to their lives so that they can love God and love each other. The second reason is that when you pray, it helps kids transition. They've just moved chairs, they've moved desks, and now they're sitting in a new space. And when they're quiet in prayer, it helps them to be more present to each other and have a conversation when they have that space in between of quietness in prayer. Last thing I want you to do is I want you to go through those discussion questions I've given you each week. And I want you to notice something. If you take a look at the last one, there's a particular order to the questions that's really important to follow. The questions that are right at the beginning, the first one or two questions are icebreaker questions. So they're questions that are focused more on just connecting kids to each other. They're lighter. They're not penetrating questions that reveal a lot about themselves. They're questions that kids want to answer, something that's about them, that they can talk about. And then they can feel safe. As you move on down the list to the more serious questions, they'll be more likely to open up about their thinking and their beliefs about the Bible lesson and how they feel about it and how they want to apply it to their life. So stay to the order so that you can move kids from being safe and connecting with each other in the icebreaker questions to then moving down the list into more serious, in-depth dialogue about the Bible lesson. And then the second thing I want you to realize is that after icebreaker questions, we have content questions. And those are important because it cites the Bible verse we've been talking about. It's just just easy for kids to then move from those icebreaker questions into answering questions directly about the Bible lesson. It steers the group into focusing on that. And kids can also remember what was taught out there as they talk about it in here. So it helps kids remember. So I hope those 5 ways are helpful. And I'll have the group rules and the group purpose every week for you when you come in. And thank you so much for your partnership as we make disciples of these children. And thank you again for watching this video. Bye.